call. So afterwards, what we have seen is we has introduced the concept of the uh, we introduced the concept of the probability density function. So in terms of for the random process we are introduced here. So at the time t, it can take the value can be defined as fx of t we can define here. So if the two random variables are there, we can call it as the bivariate random variables. So the corresponding PDF we can define like this here, fx of t1 and t2. So the two different time intervals if you're going to define, so that will become the PDF. And for the multivariate, we can define the n number of intervals we can define. Similar to the random signal, random variable, here also you're going to define with respect to the random process. The only difference is the time axis t1, t2, t3 is there, that's it here. Okay. So afterwards, we introduce the independences, that is for the bivariate, that is for the multivariate joint random process. In terms of the x of t and y of t, we can define like this. Afterwards, you have seen the statistical independence we introduced here. So that is the thing, but the random process, if it is statistically independent, then we can express as a product of the individual PDFs of the corresponding random process we can express here. Okay, so this is for the two random process, and this is for the multivariate random process we are defined, and this is for the okay, and this we can express as for the joint random process we can express as a product of the individual PDFs we can express here. Okay, so just what the concept you have seen for the random variable, the same thing we are extending for the random process as a function of time t here. Similarly, we are going to introduce the concept of the expectation. Expectation is the thing, but the expected value of the corresponding random process. So the expectation of the random process will become equal to mean, and the variance we got, it's a difference between the random variable and its corresponding mean and the square. So it will become the second central moment you're going to call it as the variance you're going to call. So similarly, the correlation of the two random process we have seen here. So that is expressed as x of t1 and x of t2, and it's what we got here. And afterwards, we have seen for the joint random process, we have seen that one here. Okay, so these are the things we see in the last class. And in the last class, we have seen the concept of the stationary. Okay, so we can say a random process is said to be stationary, we can call here. Suppose if the statistical characteristics does not change here. Statistical characteristics is the thing, but the mean and the variance or the PDF, if does not change, we are going to call it as a stationary random process we are going to call. So for that one, we can express like this here. Okay, so stationary random process is the thing, but the statistical characteristics does not change with the time here by changing the time. For example, I'm going to change by the small time interval called TS. So still the PDF remains the same. So we can call it as a stationary random process. Okay, the same concept it has been extended for the, this is a multivariate PDF here. Okay, so now for the n is equal to 1, so we're going to call it as the first order stationary process, since I'm going to take the one random process. So for that one, we can express the stationary random process like this. Similarly, for the second, so the mean will remain same and the variance remains same here. And for the second order random process, if I'm going to take 2, so then it will become the fx of t1 plus ts, and t2 plus ts will remain as t1 and t2 only. Okay, so this is called as the second stationary random process of the order 2 you're going to call. Okay, this is what we are seeing in the last class. And also we are going to introduce the concept of the Whiteson stationary or the Weekson stationary. Okay, so in case of the Whiteson stationary, Weekson stationary, so we can say that the random process and its functions such as the mean and the correlation will remain same by changing the time interval. So such a one we are going to call it as a Whiteson stationary we are going to call here. That means that, okay, so even though we are going to change the time by t1 or t2, still the statistical characteristics will remain same, and it depends on the small variation of the time, that tau, we are going to call it as the Whiteson stationary we are going to call here. Okay, so got it now? So stationary random process, its a simple meaning is the statistical characteristics does not change. Whiteson stationary or Weekson stationary is nothing but for two different time intervals, the expectation depends only on the small variation of the time interval tau. And also we can take the first order and second order can be taken as a Whiteson stationary random process we can take here. Okay, so that's what the Whiteson stationary random process is there, and the stationary random process. So got it now? Stationary and Whiteson stationary. So it is not a complicated topic. It is very simple. Okay, stationary is nothing but its statistical characteristics does not change with respect to the time t. Okay, that is called stationary. Statistical characteristics is nothing but mean and variance remains the same for the x of t and x of t plus ts. If you are going to change, it will remain same here. That is called stationary. Whiteson stationary is nothing but if you are going to for x of t1 and x of t2, so that expectation depends on only on the small time interval that is called as a tau. We are going to call that as a Whiteson stationary we are going to call here. Okay, even for that also the statistical characteristics will remain same here. So in terms of the waveforms, if you want to denote means we can denote like this here. For example, assume that so this is a random signal which is varying here. So I'm going to take a time interval t1. I'm going to take, so this I'm going to call it as a x of t1 here, x of t1. So I'm going to take small time interval t. I'm going to take here, say that is nothing but ts here. So that is this time interval is nothing but it is equal to the, so t1 plus ts I'm going to call here. Okay, so the difference between these two time intervals is nothing but ts. For the small time duration, the random process, that is x of t1 plus ts, the statistical characteristics, it may be the amplitude or it may be the any mean or the variance, still it is not varying small. So such a type of random process we are going to call it as a stationary random process we are going to call here. So ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ವಾ? So ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, so this is at time t1 and the small interval, this is a ts here. So this is t1 plus ts. So the amplitude of this one will remain same as this one. Such one you are going to call it as a stationary random process we are going to call here. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ವಾ? So that is x of t1 is equal to the x of t1 plus ts. That is fx here. The PDF remains same for the small variation of the time. We are going to call it as a stationary random process we are going to call. Small change in the time does not affect the PDF of that one. We are going to call it as a stationary random process we will call here. The other one is called wide sense stationary, is nothing but or weak sense stationary. So I'm going to take a t is equal to t1. I'm going to take a t is equal to t2. So still the probability, that is PDF at fx of t1 is equal to the fx of t2. So such a random process we are going to call as a weak sense stationary we are going to call, or wide sense stationary we are going to call here. That's it. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್? ಇದಕ್ಕೂ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ವಾ? ಸ್ಟೇಷನರಿ ರ್ಯಾಂಡಮ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ಗೂ ವೈಡ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನರಿ. ಸೊ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾಟಿಸ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಮೈನ್ ಸೇಮ್. Wide sense stationary is nothing but even the wide variation in the time interval, still the statistical characteristics remain same. So that one you are going to call it as a wide sense stationary we are going to call. That's it here, nothing else. Okay, so done. So with this concept we are going to define the function which is called as the autocorrelation function. We are going to define here and its properties. So I think in the last class I had given the definition. So correlation function. So autocorrelation is nothing but, so it is called as a serial correlation. It's similar to what the convolution you have done in your signals and system. So usually convolution is nothing but what? What's the meaning of convolution? You have done in your signals and system now. Convolution summation, convolution integral. What's the meaning of convolution? Convolution is nothing but the signal x of t will be there. Okay.
Multiplication.
Yeah. It is nothing but I'm going to take the convolution of x of n with the h of n. So the formula is nothing but it's the summation x of k into h of n minus k we are going to take, correct now? So this is nothing but it's a product of the signal with the shifted version of the signal here, time shifted version of the signal here. So that one you are going to call it as a convolution, correct, right? So I'm going to take one signal x, other signal h I'm going to take here. So for the signal h I'm going to shift the signal, I'm going to take the reflection. So when you take the product of this one, so this will become equal to the convolution. Similar way, the autocorrelation also, it's the same thing here. Autocorrelation is nothing but it's a serial correlation. Okay, so it is nothing but it's a correlation of the signal with the delayed version of the signal here. So here also we are going to make use of the convolution formula in order to find out the autocorrelation. So we can define the autocorrelation. I think everyone taken the definition. If not taken, you can take. Autocorrelation is also known as serial correlation. Autocorrelation is also known as serial correlation, and is the correlation of the signal with correlation of a signal with delayed version of the signal, itself. So we are going to take the signal and we are going to take the delay in that one and we are going to multiply that one. So that one you are going to call it as the autocorrelation we are going to call. Okay. So in case of the autocorrelation, we are going to observe the similarity between the signal with itself. We are going to observe here. Similarity between the signal with itself. We are going to observe how much the signal is similar. So that one you are going to call it as the autocorrelation we are going to call. Okay. So for the autocorrelation, we can define in the short form as ACF. A stands for autocorrelation function. Okay. So in the exam, sometimes they're going to ask ACF Other one is the CCF. CCF is nothing but the cross correlation they're going to ask. Now let us see the properties of the autocorrelation, and let us see some of the how the autocorrelation function will be defined. Let us see that one. So you can take the autocorrelation. The autocorrelation. The autocorrelation of the random process x of t. The autocorrelation of the random process x of t is given by the autocorrelation of the random process x of t is given by. So we can define the autocorrelation as Rx of tau. Rx of tau, it can be defined as expectation of x of t with x of t plus tau. X of t plus tau. Okay. So the autocorrelation depends on the small time interval tau. It depends here. Small time interval tau. So that is the signal x of t. It's delayed by some interval called tau here. So if you're going to take the expectation on this one, so that will become equal to the autocorrelation function. Autocorrelation function. Okay. So if you want in terms of the expectation, so you know where t is nothing but t and tau are the arbitrary constants we are going to assume. So t and t are tau are the arbitrary constants you are going to assume. And in terms of the expectation, we know how to find out the expectation here. So it's a limit integral. So integral can take the value minus infinity plus infinity. So it's a x of t into x of t plus tau into fx of t. Okay, so into fx of t. Okay, so just a second. Okay, fx of t into dt. Okay, so usually the time interval change here, fx of t into dt we are going to take. So this is the autocorrelation function in terms of the integral formula we can define here. So it's a delayed version of the signals and its corresponding PDF. The PDF will be considered in terms of the tau. It will be considered here. Tau, whatever the delay will be there, that tau will be considered here. So you can take this as the fx of tau into d tau. Okay, so this is the autocorrelation function. So it depends on the small time interval which is called as the tau here. Okay, so that's the autocorrelation we are going to define here. Suppose if I'm going to take instead of the x of t, if I take the another signal called y of t, it will become the cross correlation. Okay, instead of the x of t, if I take y of t, it will become the cross correlation. Now let us see the properties of the autocorrelation. So in the exam, they will ask define autocorrelation function and state its properties. You got it now? The formula. Okay. So the first property says that here. Suppose if I'm going to substitute tau is equal to 0, tau is equal to 0. So tau defines the time interval here. For example, assume that I'm having x of t signal. So it will be defined from something t is equal to the 0 to the certain value. It will be defined here, say t. When you take the autocorrelation function will take the same time interval will be extended to the negative axis also. It will be extended here. So it will become something like this. We'll get here. So in terms of the discrete time signal, if I'm having the signal from 0 to, so say assume that I'm having the signal from 0, 1, 2, 3. When I take the autocorrelation can be extended from so 1 to minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 also it is going to be extended here. So whatever the axis will be there in the positive, the same will going to get at the negative axis. And whatever the central value will be there, this central value I can say at the tau is equal to 0, I'm going to consider here. Okay, so usually the centered value at the tau is equal to 0 or something k is equal to 0 for the discrete time signal is equal to the energy of the signal will be there. Okay, for example, I'm going to consider x of n is the signal having the energy. So you define energy in the signals and systems having the energy E. If I find the autocorrelation of the signal x of n, that autocorrelation function we are going to get as a double-sided sequence. You are going to get double-sided sequence at t is equal to 0 or tau is equal to 0. We are going to get the autocorrelation as Rx of 0. We are going to call. So this will be equal to the energy of the signal. This will be equal to the energy of the signal. So we are going to call this as the energy property of the autocorrelation. It will be called here. So the x of n is a single-sided sequence. When we take the autocorrelation, it will become the double-sided sequence. The centered value is equal to the energy of the signal. That is called as the first property. So take the property 1. Take the property 1. The centered sequence of the autocorrelation function. The centered sequence of the autocorrelation function. Autocorrelation function. Autocorrelation function at tau is equal to 0. At tau is equal to 0 is equal to the mean square value. Is equal to the mean square value. Is equal to the mean square value. So in terms of the deterministic signal, we can define as energy. Okay. In terms of the random signal, we can define as the mean square value. We can define here. So right, that is, it says the property says like this. So Rx of 0 at tau is equal to 0, but Rx of 0. So center value is nothing but this is the center between this one. So it will be equal to the expected value of the x of t. Okay, x square of t here. Okay, so this is it's a mean square value, right? Mean square value you're going to call this. This is called as second moment is called as the mean square value. The first moment is equal to the mean. The second moment is equal to the mean square value. Expected value of the x square of t. So how to prove is, so we have, so you can take the proof of this one. So we have, so what we have is Rx of tau we have here. So it is equal to the expected value of t into expected value of t plus tau. Okay, the property is very simple. So let us substitute tau is equal to 0. So this has become Rx of 0 is equal to the expected value of x of t into expected value of t plus 0. So this will become expected value of the x square of t. So this is nothing but the mean square value. So sometimes it is called as the power also, it will be called here power or energy. So this is the mean square value. So this is the first property. Done right? Any doubts in the property? Okay. Okay, so you can take the second property. The second property is nothing but it's a even symmetric signal. So autocorrelation function is an even symmetric signal. So that is the thing, but when you take the time reflection, the signal will remain the same. So such a signal, so you're going to call it as an even symmetric signal. You're going to call here. So you can take the autocorrelation function. The autocorrelation. In short, you can take it as the AC of Rx of tau is an even symmetric function. Is an even symmetric function. Even symmetric function of tau. Its a time is the tau, so it's a even symmetric function of tau. So it is even symmetric function. So that is Rx of tau is equal to the. So we can say it is Rx of minus tau. So this is the thing, but we can call it as the even signal. We can call here even signal. So even signal is nothing but when you take the time reflection, the signal remains same. Okay, so that is called as the even signal. So then let us prove that one. So in order to prove this one, let us consider. So we have expected value of the, so that is Rx of tau is equal to the expected value of the t. Expected value of the t plus tau. Okay, so t plus tau we have here. Now if I change t to tau, okay, if I change tau to minus tau. So if I change tau to minus tau, it has become Rx of minus tau. So this is become expected value of the x of t into x of t minus tau. If I change this one, so we need to prove that Rx of minus tau is equal to the this part here. This should be equal to this one. We need to prove here. Okay. So in order to prove this one, so here we have the t plus tau is there. Here we have t minus tau, and these are the time here. So since the time t and t minus tau, these are the arbitrary signals here. These are the arbitrary signals we can modify. Even if you are going to modify the signals, the time interval, it is not going to affect the signal here. Okay. So you can take one sentence here with respect to the modification of the time interval. So you can take, since the absolute time, the absolute time does not affect the autocorrelation function. So ACF is called as autocorrelation function. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, so since what has the absolute time is there, this is not going to affect the variation of the autocorrelation function. It is not going to affect. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to equate t minus tau is equal to the some interval called as a t dash here. So let t dash is equal to t minus tau. So from this one we can able to get t is equal to the, so t dash plus tau will get here. T dash plus tau will get t dash plus tau. So we can substitute. We can replace t minus t with the t dash here, and t dash plus tau with this equal to the t can be replaced with the t plus this one here. So it has become Rx of minus tau is equal to the expected value of x of, so we can t can be replaced by t dash plus tau, okay, into x of, so t minus tau can be replaced by t dash. Okay, so as per the autocorrelation formula, so same thing is there, x of t dash and x of t plus t dash. So this is equal to the Rx of tau we can equate here. So because t and t dash are just an arbitrary value, it's a constant here, so we can equate this into the Rx of tau. So therefore autocorrelation function is an even symmetric. So even symmetry is nothing but, so we know that even signal x of minus t is equal to x of t, we can say it's an even signal, we can call that. So done. Okay, so take next one, the property number 3. So what the property 3 states is that, so we know about the periodic signal. So periodic signal is nothing but what, x of t plus capital T is equal to the x of t. We are going to call that one as the periodic signal. We are going to call that one as the periodic signal. So similarly, the autocorrelation function is going to add the same periodic function it is going to satisfy here. So we can say that the autocorrelation function is it's a periodic signal here. So take that one, the property is, so the autocorrelation function is a periodic signal if the random process x of t is a periodic signal. Okay, so what you are going to do is, suppose if we are considered random process x of t are considered here. Suppose if this is a periodic signal, is the thing at x of t plus t, then we can say that Rx of tau plus tau plus t is equal to the Rx of tau. So we can call here, if this is periodic, we can say our autocorrelation function is also a periodic signal will be there here. That is called as the periodicity property we can call of the autocorrelation function. So let us take, if the random process x of t, if the random process x of t is a periodic signal, then the autocorrelation function is also a periodic. That is Rx of t plus tau is equal to the Rx of tau. So this is called as the periodicity property we can call here, periodicity property of the autocorrelation function. Is any doubts? Okay, now let us prove that one here. So let us take Rx of t plus tau is equal to Rx of tau. If we can take, if x of t plus capital T is equal to the x of t. Okay, this condition is applied here, right? Then okay, let us prove that one. We'll consider the autocorrelation function. So we have Rx of tau. So this is nothing but expectation of the x of t into x of t plus tau. Okay, t plus tau. Okay, now to verify the property. So replace, what we are going to replace is, so now to verify the property, I have done in the signals. So replace tau by the, so t plus tau. We have done the periodicity properties. We have verified many problems on the periodicity. So it has become r x of t plus tau. This is equal to the expected value of wherever tau is there. I'm going to replace with the t plus tau here. So x of t into x of, so this tau can be replaced by capital T plus tau, capital T plus tau. Okay, capital T plus tau. So since we have, so since we know that, okay, okay, what you will do is I'm going to consider this part here. So let consider. So let us consider this one. Let us consider x of t plus tau. Okay, so this can be written as a x of, so t plus tau, t plus tau. Okay, so since we know that, so we know that x of t plus t, it's a periodic signal which is equal to the x of t. X of t plus t is equal to the periodic signal which is equal to the x of t. So therefore we can write this function can be written as the x of t plus tau can be replaced with the, this can be replaced with the t here. So it will become x of t plus tau will get here. So we'll get this one as x of t plus tau. Done, right? Because t plus tau can be t plus capital T can be replaced by the t, so it will become x of t plus tau. So therefore, in the autocorrelation function, what will happen is we can substitute back the same thing here. So this will become equal to the expected value of x of t into x of small t plus tau. So this is similar to the autocorrelation function Rx of tau. So therefore, the autocorrelation function is a periodic with the period. So the period will be equal to the capital T. Got it right? So this is the third property of the autocorrelation function, which is going to be equal to the, it's a periodic signal here. Done. So read out. So we have seen the three properties. So first one is called as the mean square value, or its energy we can call here. That is the centered signal is equal to the energy. The second one is it's a even symmetric signal, and the third one is, so it is equal to the, so it is a random process is a periodic signal here. Let us see the next property. So any doubts in the properties what we have seen? Any doubts in the properties what we have seen? Any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, so let us go for the next property, which is called, so as I told earlier, the centered sequence is equal to the energy of the signal here, and this value will be greater than the any of the other sequences here. If I take the autocorrelation of the any signal x of n, you are going to get the double-sided sequence you are going to get here, and the center value is equal to the energy, and the value at this point is greater than the any of these values will be there. Any of these values means this is the largest value when compared to the remaining values. So that is the center sequence, or the t is equal to, or tau is equal to 0, is having the maximum value when compared to the all other signals. So that is the next property, that is called as the property number 4. Let us see that one here. Okay, so you can take. So property 4. Property 4. Okay, so this property you can take the autocorrelation function. The autocorrelation function at tau is equal to 0. But tau is equal to 0 is always greater than, or tau is equal to 0 is always greater than any other values. Any other values. The ACF function at tau is equal to 0 is always greater than any other values. Okay, so let us find out that one. So right. Okay, so now to prove this one, I'm going to consider this one here. So proof. So we'll just consider the proof here. So let us consider. So I'm going to consider the expectation of the signal, that is x of t. So plus or minus with the expectation of the x of t plus tau. the whole square I'm going to consider. The whole square is greater than or equal to 0 will consider here. So greater than or equal to 0. So this is on this expectation I'm going to consider. So x of t plus or minus x of t plus 2 the whole square is greater than or equal to 0 will consider, and we are going to prove what is the required quantity. Let us prove that one here. Okay, now let us apply the a plus b whole square formula for this one. So if it is plus, it will become the a square plus b square minus plus 2ab. If it is minus, it will become minus 2ab. Let us apply both the expectation here. So it is become, it is a x square of t plus x square of t plus 2, x square of t plus 2 plus or minus. If it is plus, it will become plus 2ab. Okay, 2x of t into t plus 2, or minus means it will become minus ab. So is greater than or equal to the 0. Is greater than or equal to 0. So a square plus b square plus or minus 2ab will get. Now let us evaluate the expectation for the individual terms. So you can take evaluating the expectation. Evaluating the expectation. Evaluating the expectation. So if you're going to evaluate the expectation for the individual terms, it has become, okay, so expectation of the x square into t plus 2. Okay, so plus or minus 2 into 2 is the constant. Expectation of the x of t into x of t plus 2. Okay, so is greater than or equal to 0. So I'm going to retain the same condition. So this is the thing. This is the thing. X of 2, x of that is the expected value of x square of t as per the first property. We are seeing the first property, right? So this is equal to the, it's a rx of 0 we can call here. Rx of 0, if there is no time difference, we can call that one the rx of 0 we can call. And here also there is no time difference. No time difference. I can call this one as the rx of 0 we can call here, because so there is no time difference is there. The same signal is there means we can call it as the rx of 0 we can call here as per the first property what we are seeing in the first property. Okay, so as per this one, if there is no time difference is the thing, but we can call it as a rx of 0 we can call, that is a mean square value we can call here. Okay, so here also there is no time difference, I can call it as rx of 0. So plus or minus, this is expected value of x of t plus x of t minus 2. So I can call this one as a rx of 2 we can call here. Rx of 2 is greater than or equal to 0. Is greater than or equal to 0. So it will become, so 2 rx of 0. Any doubts in this one? Expect x square of 40 plus 2 I get taken as rx of 0, because if there is no time difference we can call the term as a rx of 0 we can call. Okay, so then
Yes, sir.
now so 2 rx of 0. Okay, so plus or minus 2 rx of 2 is greater than or equal to 0. So rx or else rx of 0 is greater than or equal to the, if you sign that side, it has become minus or plus rx of 2 will get here, rx of 2. So if you consider the magnitude, okay, so then rx of 0, the magnitude is always greater than or equal to the rx of 2 magnitude. Means rx of 0 is nothing but it's a centered sequence or at the origin, so it is always greater than or equal to the any of the other values, any of the other values of the autocorrelation function. That's a proof here. Okay, this is the centered sequence, or this is at origin, t or tau is equal to 0, and this is any other values. So always it will be greater than the any other values will be there. So that one you're going to call it as the that is the, it's always greater than the centered sequence is always greater than the any other values. So this is the property number 4. So these are the 4 properties of the autocorrelation function. So actually this autocorrelation function you're going to write in the next semester in the DSP lab is there, digital signal processing lab. So there you are going to use the MATLAB, and you're going to find the autocorrelation of the sequence, and you're going to verify these properties you are going to verify in the MATLAB. So by writing the program, so let us see the program in that one. I'm going to just explain the program. So whenever we get the free time, at the time I'll explain the program and we'll see how these properties are verified. Okay, so done, right? So this is about the autocorrelation function. So to recall, the autocorrelation is nothing but it's a correlation of the signal with itself here. How we are going to take the correlation? It's a delayed version of the signal we are going to take here. So or some time tau. So that is called as the autocorrelation function. The centered sequence is equal to the mean square value, and it is going to satisfy the even symmetry, and the autocorrelation function, it is going to satisfy the even symmetry, and it is the periodic signal. If x of tau is x of t is the periodic signal, and the centered sequence is always greater than or equal to the any other values in the autocorrelated sequence. So this is the 4 properties of the autocorrelation function. So done, right? Any doubts in the autocorrelation? So in the exam they will ask, okay, so what do you mean by autocorrelation function? State and prove the properties of the autocorrelation function they going to ask. So in the exam, so you can do the proof of this one. So right, any doubts? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. So now let us define the autocovariance. So autocovariance is similar to the autocorrelation function, but here we are going to take the some it's a covariance already we have taken. No, the covariance is nothing but what? It's a difference between the expected value of the difference between the random variable x and its mean and random variable y and its mean. So that is called as the covariance. We have seen in the module 2, we have seen here. So now autocovariance is nothing but the same signal I am going to take here, same signal. So that is called as the autocovariance you are going to call. So let us see the autocovariance function. Let us take the definition. The autocovariance is the autocovariance. So it's an extension of the covariance function. So that module 2, we have seen the covariance function. We are going to extend that one. It is called the autocovariance. So autocovariance. The autocovariance is a function. That gives the covariance of the process. Covariance of the process. Covariance of the process with itself. At a pair of time points. At a pair of time points. At a pair of time points. Okay, so this is it's a covariance of the function here. So for the different time interval signals, we are going to take the covariance function. So let us see that one here. So what is it? So we know the signal x of t we know, and we know x of t plus 2. For that one, if I'm going to take the covariance, that will become the autocovariance. Okay, so let us see the formula so that you'll come to know. So you can take. So this is defined for. So usually we are going to define the autocovariance function if it is having the mean. If the random process x of t is having the mean, so for that one you are going to define the autocovariance. So if the mean is equal to 0, then autocovariance and autocorrelation will become same, almost same here. Okay, so take this is defined for the random process. This is defined for the random process x of t with a non-zero mean. So begin next line. Autocovariance is defined as below. So we can define the autocovariance as Cx of tau. So because it depends on the time interval tau, it is defined here. So it is ultimate. It's an expectation of the. So usually autocovariance is ultimate. It's a difference between the random variable and its corresponding mean. Okay. So similarly, we know that for the small variation in the time interval, the mean does not change here. So that is called as a stationary random process you are going to call. So that's why I'm going to take the same nu x you are going to take. So this is how the autocovariance is defined here. So it depends on the mean. Suppose if the mean is equal to 0, so autocovariance and autocorrelation will become the same function. Okay. Autocovariance and autocorrelation will become the same function if mean is equal to 0. So got it now? So this is called as a autocovariance. Why we use the term called auto is because we are taking just a small time interval we are taking here. That's why it is taken. Now let us expand this one. Okay, I'm going to multiply a minus b into c minus d something here. So let us multiply this one and let us find out what is the exact formula for the covariance. I'm going to take the product of this one. So x of t plus tau minus nu x into x of t. So let us take the product of this one plus. Okay, we have taken. So minus nu x into x of t plus tau t plus tau. This is tau, not capital T. T plus tau. Minus into minus will become plus nu x square plus nu x square. Now let us evaluate the expectation for the individual terms here. X of t into x of t plus tau minus. So the expectation of nu x is nu x only. So the expectation of x of t is nothing but it's a nu x only will get here. Minus the expectation of this one is it's a nu x, and expectation of this one is it's the expectation of x of t plus tau plus the expectation of the nu x, because it's a constant, remains the constant only. So this is cx of tau, and this is nothing but the it's autocorrelation function rx of tau minus. So this is nu x into nu x will become nu x square minus this is also nu x, and the expectation of x of t plus tau, it's a nu x because it's a stationary random process. So this will become nu x square plus nu x square. So one nu x square will get cancelled with the other one. So the covariance cx of tau is equal to the difference between the autocorrelation and the square of the mean. If mean is equal to 0, so both will be one and the same. Both will be one and the same. Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is autocovariance function, how it will be defined. Okay, so I'll take one problem on the autocorrelation function, and we'll go for the next one later. So we can take the problem. Okay, so still we have 11 minutes time, is it? So I'll take the cross correlation function. I'll take here. Later I'll come for the problem, because the problem will take some 20 minutes. It will take here. So because we have some. Okay, so I'll take the cross correlation function. So in the next class I'll take the autocorrelation function problem on the autocorrelation function. I'll take in the next class. Okay. So because just we have left out with the 10 minutes. Okay, the problem will take much time. So take cross correlation function. Cross correlation function. So it is defined as a, in short, as a CCF. It will be defined in the exam. They're going to ask the short form CCF. They're going to use. So don't get confused. It's a cross correlation function. So this cross correlation function is defined for the two random processes. One is called x of t and y of t. We are going to call it as a cross correlation. If the same function it is defined, it is autocorrelation. If the different function it is defined, it is called as a cross correlation. Okay. So let us take. We are going to take the two random processes. One is called x of t. Other one is called y of t. For that one, if you are going to take the expectation, okay, for the small time interval called tau, so that will become the cross correlation. So usually for the signal x of t and y of t, if I take the cross correlation, I can call that one as the rxy of tau. I can call rxy of tau. Similarly, if I take the cross correlation of the y of t with the x of t, I can call this as a ryx of tau. So usually rxy is not equal to the ryx. Okay, so the order which you are going to take will matter in the cross correlation. So right. So let us take one sentence. Consider the two random processes. Consider the two random processes. Consider the two random processes x of t and y of t. X of t and y of t. Okay. When we consider together, when we consider together, so when we are going to consider these two together, then they are said to be jointly wide sense stationary. Okay, so when you are going to consider two random processes x of t and y of t, so if you are going to consider these together, we can call it as the wide sense stationary random process. We can call here wide sense stationary random process. Okay, now let us define the cross correlation function of that one. So I can take the cross correlation the cross correlation of x of t and y of t is given by the cross correlation of x of t and y of t is given by. So for the autocorrelation and cross correlation, the same notation I'm going to use here. R is the notation we are going to use. So far, the two different terms are there. It is called as a cross correlation. If the single term is there, we can call it as a autocorrelation. We can call. So this is the Rxy of tau. So this is equal to the expected value of the x of t into y of t plus tau. Y of t plus tau. So this is the cross correlation of x of t with the y of t. Okay. So similarly, we can define for the y of t and x of t. So you can take the cross correlation function of y of t and x of t is given by. So the cross correlation of x of t and y of t is given by. So r y x of tau. So this is the thing what we are going to take in the order. The order is going to be changed here. So x of t plus tau. Okay, this is the cross correlation of x of t and y of t. Sorry, y of t and x of t. Done. Okay, so we have properties here, but the proof of the properties is not there. So for the cross correlation also, we are having the program in the DSP lab. So in that program, we are going to verify the cross correlation and we are going to verify the properties. So the first property is that. So similar to the autocorrelation, here also it is going to satisfy the symmetry, but the symmetry is not even symmetry. It is some other kind of symmetry. Let us see that one here. Okay, so similar to the autocorrelation, here also it is going to satisfy some kind of symmetry, but not even symmetry, but some other symmetry it is going to satisfy. So I can take cross correlation function satisfies the symmetry property. It's not even symmetry, don't get confused. Symmetry property given by. Okay, so here we have the cross correlation of x of tau and x of y of t. So this is the thing at Rxy of tau, and similarly we have the cross correlation of y of t and x of t. So this is called Ryx of tau here. So if I take the cross correlation, and for this one, if I take the time reflection, I'm going to get as the Ryx of minus tau. I will get here minus tau. So then we can say that Rxy of tau. So this is equal to the Ryx of minus tau. So this kind of symmetry is going to satisfy here. If I take the cross correlation of y and x, so I'm going to get the Ryx of tau. I'll get here. For this one, if I take the reflection, so that will become equal to the cross correlation of x of t and y of t. Okay, so this is a property it is going to satisfy by the cross correlation function. Okay, so similar to the autocorrelation, here also it is going to satisfy the periodicity property. Okay, so let us take this one. So you've taken the first property, right? So let us take. So similar to the autocorrelation, if x of t and y of t are periodic, if x of t and y of t are the periodic functions, so periodic with the period t, if it is a periodic with the period t, so then the cross correlation function also satisfies the same property, that is Rxy of tau plus t is equal to the Rxy of. Okay, so similarly the Ryx of tau plus t, so this is equal to the Ryx of tau. So this periodicity property is going to be satisfied by the cross correlation. Okay, so this is a periodicity property, and it is having the similar to the last property of the autocorrelation. Here also it is going to satisfy the property. Let us see that one. Okay, so you can take and write. Okay, so I'll go for the last property. So property number 3. So what the property 3 says that, so if I'm going to consider the magnitude of the cross correlation function Rxy of tau, so this is always less than or equal to the centered value of the autocorrelated functions of Rx. Okay, Rx of 0 and Ry of 0. So if I take the autocorrelation function of Rx of t, Rx with this one, so we are going to get the centered sequence as the Rx of 0. And for the function, this one, y of t, if I take the autocorrelation, it will become the Ry of 0. So if I take the cross correlation of x of t and y of t, I'm going to get Rxy of tau here. So the Rxy of tau is always less than or equal to the square root of Rx of 0 and y of 0. Okay, so this is the property number 3. So similarly, it can be extended for the cross correlation between y and x. So this is less than or equal to the, so Rx of 0 and Ry of 0. Okay, so always the autocorrelated frequency, the centered value will be greater than the cross correlated sequence centered value. So we can take one sentence. So that is the cross correlation of x and y. The cross correlation of x and y is always less than or equal to, is always less than or equal to, so this is called as the geometric mean, you are going to call here, is equal to geometric mean of Rx of 0 and Ry of 0. Rx of 0 and Ry of 0. Okay, so these are the three properties of the cross correlation function. So for the two different sequences, if you are going to take the expected value with the time delayed versions, so it will become the cross correlation. So similarly, we can, similar to the autocovariance, here also we can define the cross covariance here. So just I'll give the formula. Okay, you can take, so the cross covariance of x of t and y of t, cross covariance of x of t and y of t is defined as, so we can define the cross covariance of x of t and y of t. So it's nothing but the expected value of the, so you know it's the difference between the random process x of t and its corresponding mean and the time delayed version. So we can define like this. So Rxy of tau is equal to the, so it's the expected value of x of t minus its mean and okay, so y of t plus tau, because the second one you need to take the delay, and the corresponding mean of nu y. So this is a cross covariance of x and y. So similarly, we can define for the Ryx of tau. So it's the expected value of y of t minus nu y, okay, and x of t plus tau minus nu x. So this is a cross covariance